Alright, hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to give you my full breakdown and review of Nintendo World Championships NES Edition on the Switch. For those of you that may have been on the fence about picking this up, or maybe you forgot it came out, I'm here to warn you that this may not be the game that you're expecting it to be. It's actually way different than I was expecting it to play, and I've spent 25 hours with it over the past week, and there was some fun surprises and also some disappointments and things that I was just not expecting. So before you buy this game, I'm going to walk you through the game. I've spent a lot of time with both modes, both playing very competitively on the leaderboards, as well as casually just going for like some of the top ranks. I'm going to break everything down for you so you know if this is the type of game for you or not. So what do you say we get into the game itself, and I'll kind of walk you through it. So I picked this game up day after it launched. And I wanted to check this out because, as you guys may or may not know, I'm very much in the speedrunning. And this game is centered around speedrunning. So for those of you that are expecting some kind of like NES remix style game, the first thing that you need to know is that the levels in this game, as I will show you, are actually just ripped straight from the games themselves, right? So if you're going to do this level here, this is just straight up Mario World 1-1. There's nothing remixed about it. It's essentially, think of it as like little tiny scenarios from the main normal games, and then they give you a scenario where it's like, okay, we need you to do this as fast as possible, so let's just take this Zelda level for example. As you can see here, I beat it in just under 2 seconds. Yes, 2 seconds. And this is the main sort of gimmick of the game. You pick a level, they'll show you a preview on the left showing you what you need to do. And I'll show you my personal best replay. So as you can see here, it will show you my best time that I achieved just under 2 seconds on, and there it is. And then what they would want you to do is you can use fast forward and you can use rewind to kind of like check frame by frame. How can you improve this? So if I go in here right now, this game has a really hard time kind of like accepting my inputs. So I would go in here and get messed up right away, right? So that's kind of the main gimmick. So if you're not the type of person that's in the speedrunning and super repetitious types of levels, right? So one of the levels that I grinded really hard for was this Metroid level. I spent probably close to 10 plus hours just doing this Metroid level here. So I'll show you my personal best here. It was 21.51 seconds. They actually ranked me based on year of birth, which is really interesting. So I'm like the second best person in the world for 1987, and overall worldwide I was ranked 67 on this level, which I was pretty proud of because I did spend a lot of time grinding it. So just imagine for a moment yourself sitting here doing exactly this over and over and over and over and over for hours upon hours. Now, there are multiple ways that you can approach playing this game, and I'm going to show you that. You don't have to grind hardcore to get high scores in this game. You can play it very casually, but this is what you're signing up for. You're signing up to essentially pay to learn to become a speedrunner. And some of the challenges are quite grueling and quite challenging. Even as something as simple as getting a mushroom in Mario, right? You may be like, oh, that's not too bad. I spent probably about 5 hours on this one, not quite as long, where you're using techniques like jumping backwards to save time, because when you jump backwards as Mario, it's actually faster than traveling forward. All this crazy stuff for faster and faster setups. This was actually ranked like 500 in the world, so there were a ton of people that were grinding this level pretty heavily. But that's just to kind of give you an example. So that is World Championship mode, and essentially how this works is there's two different modes. So let's go through the normal, more casual mode first. This will give you a good idea of what to expect. Now, the way that I'm approaching this game is I'm not going through all the levels and trying to get S ranks. This is how most people are playing the game, and that's completely fine. So as you can see here, it's got 13 different games. Some of them have more levels than others, and you can see I started playing the game going for all S ranks and Kirby. And I was like, well, this is cool and all, but I want to be more competitive, because the first thing that this game does not have, and I was really blown away by, there are no leaderboards for individual levels. So if you click on a level and you go to play it, there's no leaderboard to tell you this is the best time in the world, this is kind of like where you place. There is nothing. The only time that you get a leaderboard is when you come into World Championships mode, and essentially once a week between the time that they specify, so in the case of this on the 29th, at 5 a.m. in the morning on Monday, it will cut off the times and it will rank you. So if you come into here and you go to your recent results, these are the only leaderboards in the game. Now, originally, the way I thought it was going to work was they would take your best ranks for all 5 levels and kind of tally it up and give you like an overall ranking in the world, right? Like you are the Nintendo World Champion based on this week's games. But no, it's actually just 5 different leaderboards. So the 2 that I really grinded a lot were Metroid, which I was ranked number 67 in the world, and Mario 2, which I got 90. And they give you this fun little thing here where they'll show you your ranking. You cannot scroll the rankings. There were a lot of ties in this level. You cannot scroll the rankings, so I can't scroll above me and see who's ranked 89. You can't scroll below. It's kind of weird. It's a little disappointing in that regard. And, you know, I would love to scroll up and see who the top 10 were. Maybe I'd recognize a name, right? But no, you can't do that. And then after they show you your world ranking, it will also show you your world ranking when it comes to your birth year, which is, I guess, a fun way of saying, hey, you may not have got world's number 1 in the world, but hey, maybe you got top 50 for your age bracket, which is whatever. I mean, it's kind of a Nintendo thing to do, right? And that's it. So I'm assuming after the week is over, these replays will be wiped. So if I wanted to like watch my replays, I would have to go in and watch my replays, right? But that's it. Those are the only leaderboards. And if you're just looking to play the game normally and not get too competitive, this is what you're dealing with here. 13 games, each one will have a varying amount of levels, and the main thing that most people are doing is they're going in and they're trying to S-rank a level. So, how about we just pick something normal here, right? Like, let's do the next Kirby level. Let's see what the next Kirby level is. So you unlock this, right? Fireball Rush. I don't know what this level's about to be. Enter the door. They're going to show me a preview on the left here. And apparently you just got to get a power-up and speed dash across. Okay, nothing too crazy, right? And then what most people are doing, they're just aiming to hit S ranks, which sometimes can be really hard, sometimes can be really easy. After you get an S rank on everything, you're kind of done with the game. Sorry about that, my throat was getting a little scratchy, I had to take a sip of water. So yeah, once you get S ranks in everything, you're kind of done. There's no incentive to come back and ever lower your times because there's no leaderboards. That's it, you're done. So you can probably finish and beat everything with S ranks in, I don't know, a week, easily probably. It really depends how hard you go on it. So then you would be relying on World Championships, which, let me tell you, there's 2 different ways you can approach this. You can either come into here very casually and be like, all right, let's, I'm going to show you the replays for the world champions in these levels, and I'm going to let you see how crazy they are, right? The world championship replay of the world's first in Metroid is absolutely ridiculously good. So here, check it out. So there's ways you can go about this. Since they don't give you an overall ranking cumulatively across the 5 levels, you would either have to just do the 5 levels for fun and just for the heck of it see, maybe you set a goal of cracking top 500, top 1000, top 100, which is really hard on as many levels as you want. But if you want to be competitive, you're probably going to have to pick 1 or 2 of your favorite levels and grind the heck out of them, which is what I plan on doing because I had no idea that it was just going to be 5 individual leaderboards. So had I known that, I would have ignored probably the Mush Zoom level, which I will show you the replay for that as well. Equally as crazy. What you got to do is like these almost frame perfect tricks. This person is doing like frame acceleration stuff, jumping backwards, really impressive stuff. The World 111 here, if I show you. If I had known that this would not average into my overall score, I would have never bothered wasting time on this. By him doing these 2 backwards jumps, which are 2 frame perfect, 4 input frame perfect inputs at the same time, which is almost inhuman, he's able to get a 21.11, which I couldn't even get the 21.15 because I was not able to do the inputs on my controller. Had I known that, I would have ignored this level completely, but I wasted hours trying to get better at getting the frame acceleration. I achieved the 21.16, but that's as fast as you can go without like doing some expert level tricks. So the way that I would approach it, and this is another way that you can play this game, is every week just pick out 1 or 2 of your favorite levels, maybe you like 3, maybe you like all of them, and just go really hard on one of those levels, right? Like maybe you really like this Zelda level, and you didn't like the other levels, and you just wanted to grind this 2-second level over and over and over. So if you don't think you're the type of person that can sit here and play a 2-second level, the countdown to start the level is longer than the level itself. So let me just give you a better idea of like how this looks like in practice, right? So let's just say that you really wanted to get better at this week's Mario level. This is actually one of the levels from this week. I have a pretty good time on here, to be honest. Let me just check my replay. The cool thing is it does show you the controller inputs in the bottom left, which I kind of like. So you can kind of go frame by frame and study your inputs. So let's just say that you want to get better at this level. This is in real time what this would look like, and this is probably a good tell if this is a game for you or not. So you would kind of just come up here. Oops, I missed. Reset. Gotta deal with the countdown. Oop. Oh, I missed a coin again. We gotta reset. Maybe this time I'm gonna try holding run. And, you know, it's actually harder than it looks. And you just do this over and over and over and over and over until you get a time that you are satisfied with. So for this week, for example, the level that I'm kind of enjoying is... Oh, I don't even have it unlocked yet. We gotta go to World Championships. So I kind of like this Zelda level here, Death Mountain Duel. So I've decided that this is probably going to be one of the levels that I go pretty hard on. My time on here is pretty good. So my strat for this right now is I figured out, oh, we shoot across here and we hit the centaur guy and... Ooh, this is actually a pretty decent attempt. Wow, that was pretty close to my PB. I normally don't get that close. But see, that's the allure of this game, is figuring out the little strats that bring you closer and closer to saving time. And when you get that new personal best time, that's maybe like a fraction of a second faster, it feels pretty good. So let's talk about the real positives that I really like about this game. Oh goodness gracious, they're gonna make me play Kid Icarus. It's certainly a difficult game. It's not one of my favorites. I'll kind of let the demo play here for you as I talk. So the things that I really like about this, you might be like, well, why don't you just speedrun the normal games themselves? Well, that's because this game puts you in some really strange and different situations, right? Like normally when you're speedrunning a game, for example, you would never try and see how fast you can collect the mushroom in Mario, or how fast you can defeat one singular enemy in a Zelda level. So being able to quickly reset over and over and over and actually compete for a best time in something like that is actually really interesting and really different in the speedrunning world, because normally you'd be using glitches, you'd be ignoring most enemies, you'd be doing a lot of things that would avoid a lot of these scenarios that they're presenting you in this game. So it's pretty neat, right? Did we ever think there would be a day where people were speedrunning how fast can you collect the first mushroom in Mario? No, it's really different, it's really fun and really unique, and at times it gets you to play levels in different situations that normally you would not typically find yourself doing in the normal game. And it can be really fun to grind these times down and get a lot better. But this also comes with the side effect of there will be a lot of levels in here that are super tedious and not really fun. Like I can already tell that I am going to hate this Metroid level here. Let me just show you real quick what this looks like. So this one here wants you to just collect the morph ball as soon as possible. What this comes down to is like doing some frame perfect jumps, which I already messed up, and collecting the morph ball and not messing up. So imagine doing that over and over and over, right? So some of these levels are really not going to be for you. And if you hate repetition, you hate this kind of grind and just doing the same thing over and over, you may not like this game. But if you've always been curious about speedrunning, let me see if I can get you back to watching a replay on, let's see, oh, Mario Brothers 2. I love this level. See, at first I actually hated this level. I was like, oh my goodness, the float mechanics of Luigi would drive me crazy. But then once I got used to it, this is my replay here. I had a ton of fun with this level. Like this was one that I love the grind. Doing these jumps perfectly inside here was doing that right there, not easy. So it actually made me gain a new appreciation for Mario Brothers 2. So it has that positive aspect where normally these NES games where maybe I kind of looked over them in the past, you know, I started to have a lot more fun with them than normal. But the way that I'm approaching this is every single week I'm going to pick a few of the levels on the World Championships leaderboard, and I'm going to grind those and just see if I can crack top 100. Top 100 seems like a good goal. Maybe I go for top 25 on ones where I'm feeling really confident, and then at the end of the week you get to see how you did. But this brings me into the things that are not the greatest about this. No leaderboards until the end of the week, right? So we will not know what the world's best times are on here. They're actually updating the player numbers in real time, which I think is really clever. And based on numbers from last week, these numbers are actually pretty good. There seems to be not that big of a fall off with player numbers, because last week the highest levels ended at like 60,000 players. So it's actually kind of nice to see that most people are still playing the game. But yeah, no leaderboards until the very end, and you can't scroll the leaderboards. So the competitive edge in me, it's like once the level passes for a weekly leaderboard, what's the incentive to go back? The leaderboard is already done and gone. You'll never even know if you have the world's best time. Hopefully they add it in the future. Maybe this is something that they're working on, and I hope so, because I think it's one of the most detrimental things about the game. Something else really strange and odd is, I actually haven't done this week's, where you race against other players, right? So actually I can demo this for you right now. Let's do this. I'll show you how this works. So it's pairing me with other people's ghosts right now. So it's me versus 7 people, but this is not in real time. I'll just be playing against their ghost, and it's an elimination process. Oh boy, this has taught me one thing, and that is I really despise the ladder climbing mechanics in Donkey Kong. So you can see their ghosts on the right there, and I think the slowest 4 people will get eliminated, and the 4 fastest will move on. So it's sort of a, ooh, oh, that's close. It's sort of a clever little way to do like a battle royale elimination. I'm going to try and play it safe here because I don't want to get eliminated. There we go. So I came in first, right? And then it shows you everybody else's replays. They're all struggling to catch up. It kind of makes you feel good. You're like, oh, wow, I'm not the worst person in the world playing this game. But you are kind of just playing against 7 random people's ghosts. They could be way better than you. They could be way worse than you. But here's the thing. Oh, I could already move on. Once you get first in this mode in both Silver and Gold Division, there's no reason to keep playing it because you get 1 trophy, and that's it. There's no reason to keep playing this throughout the week. So once you get it, and that's it. You never play it again. All right, I gotta focus here. Gotta place top 2. I'm pretty bad at this one, so... Oh, goodness. Oh, that's not good. Oh, I got eliminated. So, as you can see, only the top 2 move on, and then those top 2 people would compete in, looks like the Metroid jumping morph ball level. And that's it. So if I were to get first there, I would never have to do Silver Division again, and then if I got first in Gold Division, I would never have to get first there again. And that's it. That's all there is to do for the week. These 2 challenges, the World Championship leaderboard, these leaderboards here, 173 current participants, not bad. That's, at first I thought the numbers in this game were not performing as decently as Nintendo was hoping, because there were not a lot of people streaming this game. There were also not a lot of people like following streams of this game, and this is the type of game where you'd feel like a lot of people would want to watch streams of it. Just to show really quickly, they have player icons that you can unlock with coins. I have 27,000 coins. Obviously, I've been doing a lot of grinding. So if I spend 1,000 coins, hey, there you go. You can get some new avatars. Pin collections, which you get through various achievements. Some fun little things for people to collect. So maybe even after you get all S ranks, maybe you want to work on collecting all the pins. And that is it. That is the game. So like I said, it's really going to come down to how casual do you want to approach this? Do you want to just get all S rankings here? And don't be fooled by this. This may look a lot bigger, and it may appear like it's going to be a much longer game than you think it is, but these levels go by extremely quickly. Most levels in this game are like probably 5 seconds on average, so getting S rank, not always the hardest thing in the world. And then you have the weekly grinds, which at the moment will be the thing that I come back for. I will be streaming my attempts of this, grinding 1 or 2 levels as hard as I can to see how high I can get on the leaderboards, because I'm very competitive with that kind of stuff. And then survival mode, which is super short-lived. So I like the concept of this game. I think they can definitely improve upon it in future versions. If they do one of these for Super Nintendo, that would be really awesome. They just need a bit more online leaderboard integration, like really bring out that competitiveness. Don't just hold us back until the end of the week to show you where you've placed worldwide. At least let us see a scrolling leaderboard that we can look through as well. So I guess that's about it, right? So do I recommend this game? I recommend this game to fans of NES games. If you've ever been curious about speedrunning, I absolutely would recommend you check this out. It's available digitally for 30 bucks. That's how I personally bought it. And then you can get a physical version, which is not a normal physical version. It's like you gotta buy it with like some extra goodies, like a reproduction gold card, like some cards or something. I just chose the half price digital version. Personally, I didn't care about all the extra physical stuff. So if you're really competitive and you're into getting like really good times in a speedrun setting, I also highly recommend the game to you. But approach with caution if you hate super competitive content, because this may be something that you just absolutely can't stand. And if you were hoping for something a bit more like a WarioWare type of game or like an NES remix, these are just straight up the original games, just segmented into really short sections for you to play through. It also has local online multiplayer, but I can't speak to that. But if you have a big group of friends, this might be a fun little party game for you to play as well. So that's going to do it for me, guys. Thank you very much for watching the video, and let me know your comments below. Did you get a super high ranking in one of these levels? You know, hey, you can post that too. You can brag about it. Let us know how you did in the comments below. And, you know, what kind of improvements and features do you want to see them maybe patch in or add for the next one as well? See you in the next one.